But this is a case where they put rocket fuel in bottled water. You would think that 2 complaints about gasoline-like substances would be a big red flag.
So I have a couple of stipulations. You want to walk those through?
Yes, Your Honor. Joel Odou on behalf of Real Water. We understand that the plaintiffs are going to rest, and Real Water has a Rule 50 motion for judgment as a matter of law as to the punitive damages claim only. We would like to argue that at the convenience of the court and allow the jury to come in, hear our case where we're going to play some videos so as to not interrupt the flow. And we can do that at any time. We just want to make sure that the record is clear, that there's not been a waiver because that was not immediately brought after the plaintiff's rest. That would be the first one.
And Your Honor, we're in agreement with that. We won't argue that it was a waiver for the convenience of the court and keep this thing rolling.
Right. And just so from the court's perspective, it's whatever you all want to do, right? I mean, it's whether you want to have the jury finish up and then do it afterwards. The court has no preference. It's whatever meets you all's needs.
That's probably a good idea, Your Honor. Let's finish all the testimony. When the jury goes, we can argue that.
And Real Water agrees, and there's one other matter we're done with that one.
Sure. Counsel Plan, I think you have a matter regarding exhibits. Do you want
I
all?
can explain to the court, Your Honor. So there are a number of exhibits that Mr. Pepperman would like to move into evidence. I just need time to review them. Again, the plaintiffs can rest their case without those exhibits being approved by us. I will approve them while the video is playing. Excuse me, while the video is playing. I don't anticipate there being a problem. If there is a problem, plaintiffs can go back to their case and get those exhibits entered. But I seriously doubt that's going to be an issue.
So what you're saying is similar to the stipulation with regard to the Rule 50 motion. It would be okay if plaintiff admits exhibits after they've rested because you all are in the process currently of reviewing them. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
And we're in agreement with that too, Your Honor.
Okay. Any 2 for 2 so far? Any other agreements? Mr. Parker, do you have an agreement?
I learned during the break that I believe defendants are going to use Mr. Neslin's deposition. Is that correct?
Yeah, he's 6 minutes.
And Your Honor, we've been going
Can we
back.
get a spelling so we can make sure?
Neslund.
Okay.
And Your Honor, we were going back and forth with the Eurofins testing results. That's Exhibit 7. The only objection was from ETT. Both Real Water and plaintiffs agreed to that testing report. So if Mr. Neslin is going to be used, I ask that we have a stipulation on the record that Exhibit 7, proposed Exhibit 7 be admitted.
Real Water agrees. Exhibit 7 should be admitted.
Okay. Do you want that admitted as a stipulation to the parties now, or did you want to present it sometimes?
I would say just do it now, Your Honor.
Okay.
Because I think they're going to play the deposition soon, or at least this afternoon.
No, sometimes people like to say it in front of the jury. Sometimes people want it outside the presence. Court doesn't have a preference.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay. So by agreement of the parties, Exhibit 7 is going to be stipulated admitted. Okay. So when the ladies and gentlemen of the jury come back in, is the court just going to ask counsel for plaintiff to please call your next witness, and then you're going to say you rest, and then defense, you're going to move. Then I'm going to say, by the fact plaintiff's rested. For the defense, would you like to call your first witness? Is that going to meet people's needs?
I was just getting the order. We are ready to proceed.
Okay. Does that meet your needs?
It does, Your Honor.
Does that meet your needs, counsel plaintiff? If anyone's requesting something different, let me know. No? Okay. So the marshal should be. We have, yeah, if you can get our jury, appreciate it. Thank you so very much. How long is the anticipated, you said for him, how long did you say?
First video is 6 minutes. Second video is 25 minutes. Third video is an hour. We thought we could take a break and break up that hour video.
Okay, so just say when you think it's a good time for the lunch break, sometime between 12 and 12:15, okay?
Yeah, we'll just stop the video at whatever point we're at.
Okay, wherever you want to, yeah, just sometime, you may know a particular points that you want between 12 and 12:15, that's what I'm saying, no later than 12:15, perfect.
Raj, your entry?
Appreciate it. Thanks for talking back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everyone had a nice morning break. At this juncture, I'm going to ask counsels for plaintiff, would you like to call your next witness?
Plaintiff's rest.
Okay, thank you. Since counsel for plaintiff says that plaintiff's rest, if you recall at the beginning when the court gave the introduction that the next step is for counsel or defense to do their case in chief. So that's why counsel for defense is already standing. And I can say counsel for defense, would you like to name your first witness, please?
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Joel Odou for Rural Water. We would like to call Charles Nestland via pre-recorded video testimony.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is similar to what we had the other day, where it's pre-recorded and it's going to be on each of the screens. Okay, so then at this juncture, feel free to proceed.
Good morning, Mr. Neslin. My name's Will Kemp. It is pronounced Neslin.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And should it be Dr. Neslin or what?
Just Mr. Nestler, or you may call me Charles.
Okay. All right. Okay, Mr. Neslin, can you tell me who you work for?
I work for Eurofins Lancaster Laboratories Environment Testing, a company within the Eurofins Environment Testing group of laboratories.
And in general, what does Eurofins do?
Eurofins Environment Testing does an environmental analysis, so analysis of contaminants in the environment, water quality parameters, soil remediation parameters, and the like. So any and all of the environmental contaminants that you might read about in the newspaper, spills and the like, we do that kind of testing and deliver those results.
Okay. How long has Eurofins been engaged in doing this type of testing?
Eurofins Corporate has been engaged, for over 50 years. The companies within the Eurofins Environment Testing America have different tenures. The facility I'm at, which is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, has been doing that for nearly 60 years. Our counterparts in what was your Test America, they've been doing that also for nearly 40 or 50 years, so it's quite a few decades.
And can you tell me just briefly the extent of your educational background?
I have a BS in chemistry from the University of Pittsburgh and spent another 2 years in graduate studies in organic chemistry before starting work at the my current location, which is Legacy Lancaster Laboratories, currently Eurofins Lancaster Laboratories.
Okay. And how long have you been working for Eurofins?
At this location for Lancaster Laboratories and now Eurofins Lancaster Laboratories, about 38 years.
Was Eurofins retained to undertake some testing with regards to a product known as real water?
That I cannot specifically answer to other than what I've seen in the analytical reports.
Okay. Eurofins was retained to do some testing, correct?
Yes, yes, sir.
And how would you describe the product being tested?
As based off of the analysis reports, they look to be water samples for which different water analysis parameters testing parameters were performed.
And do you know who retained Eurofins to do the testing on the water samples?
I do not, sir.
Okay. And what type of testing generally did Eurofins do on the water samples?
From what I saw from the analytical reports, there was, of course, the hydrazine analysis. There were some other organics analysis, like semi-volatile compounds. I believe there were also some volatile compounds done, as well as some anion analysis, like chloride, nitrate, nitrite. I believe one sample may have even had a microbiological test done. I'm dropping the name right now, but it's looking for bacteria in the water.
So basically, the client wanted you to test for hydrazine, volatile organic compounds, semi-volatile organic compounds, coliforms, E. coli. Eurofins tested for that, and the only thing it found above the reporting limit of 5 samples was hydrazine and objective evidence of hydrazine in other samples. Is that a pretty fair summary?
I believe there are a few samples, sir, that had detections for chloride and anion. That might be on the previous page.
Oh, yeah. Chloride was found in all 7 samples tested, right?
Okay.
And I think that you touched on this one in response to Mr. Kemp's last question, or second to last question, but as far as you're aware, is hydrazine an analyte that is typically tested for in standard bottled water testing?
To my knowledge, no, it is not.
And is hydrazine something that's tested for in any sort of standard water testing that you're aware of, such as municipal water or anything like that?
To my knowledge, no, it is not.
In terms of Eurofin's capabilities for liquid testing, roughly how many different analytes can Eurofins test for?
This is really just a guesstimate. I have not tallied the actual number, but it's several hundred.
So, for example, there are several hundred, at least according to your estimate, different analytes that Eurofins could test for in a bottled water sample.
Yes, sir.
Are you aware of any of your clients ever testing bottled water for all of the several hundred of the analytes that Eurofins can test for?
No, I am not aware of that.
If a party wanted to test a water sample for hydrazine, that is something that would need to be specifically requested, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And in fact, you described that Eurofins had to develop a special protocol to even test for hydrazine?
Yes, that is correct.
That's it, Your Honor.
Thank you. This witness excused for all purposes or subject to recall, and if recall, not part of the case.
Excused for all purposes, Your Honor.
Appreciate it.
Your Honor.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Then at this juncture, counsel for defense, and there couldn't be any jury questions given it was a video. Please feel free to call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Real Water calls Diego Mendagana, the pre-recorded video testimony.
Okay, and do we have a spelling at the beginning of that? You're taking care of? Okay. Then feel free to proceed.
Sir, please raise your right hand.
Señor, por favor, levante su mano derecha.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this deposition will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
¿Jura usted solemnemente que el testimonio que va a dar en esta declaración juramentada va a ser la verdad, solo la verdad y nada más que la verdad con la ayuda de Dios? Yes.
Remember when you started at Real Water?
¿Recuerda cuándo comenzó usted con Real Water?
Era 2016.
It was 2016.
And how did it come to your attention that Real Water had a job opening?
¿Y cómo se enteró usted de que Real Water tenía un puesto abierto para empleo?
Indeed, por Indeed.
Indeed, through Indeed.
Did you know anyone at Real Water before you worked there?
¿Usted conocía a alguien en Real Water antes de que comenzara usted a trabajar ahí?
No.
No.
And what was your first job position with Real Water?
¿Y cuál fue su primer puesto de trabajo que tuvo usted con Real Water?
Trabajador de luz.
I was a lead worker.
That also called lead technician?
Eso también es technical lead o lead technician en inglés.
No, dije trabajador de línea, como line worker.
Or I said line worker. Line worker.
Line worker. And what did a line worker do?
¿Y qué es lo que hace un trabajador de línea?
Varias cosas, empacar las aguas, armar las cajas para empacar las aguas, para sellar las cajas, ponerlas en las paletas y rapearlas para shipping.
Well, several things. Packing, I also pack boxes, I seal them, I put them on pallets, and I ship them.
Okay. Did you help make the water?
¿Usted ayudaba a hacer el agua?
Y, no al principio.
Not in the beginning. Not in the beginning.
Did there come a time that you helped make the water?
¿Llegó algún momento en el cual usted ayudó a hacer el agua?
Sí, cuando me convertí en el lead guy del equipo.
Yes, when I became the lead guy of the team.
When was that?
¿Y cuándo fue eso?
2017, con un año después.
2017, about a year later.
And did you have a title?
¿Y usted tenía un título de trabajo?
Ya, como lead guy, más lead guy.
Yeah, like a lead guy. That's it, lead guy.
Okay. And how did you help make the water?
¿Y cómo ayudaba usted a hacer el agua?
Nuestro trabajo como liga era nomás poner el potasio y el concentrado de real water dentro de los tanques donde se mezclaban para empezar a llenar las botellas.
Just to mix the potassium and the concentrate of real water, of where it was mixed, so that they would be put into the bottles.
Did you have anything to do with making the concentrate?
¿Usted tenía algo que ver con hacer el concentrado?
No.
No.
Was that Mr. Blaine Jones who made the concentrate?
¿Ese era el señor Blaine Jones el que hacía el concentrado?
No sé si era solo él, pero sí lo veía haciendo la mayoría.
I don't know if it was only him that did it, but I did saw him doing it.
But he never assisted in making the concentrate.
Pero usted nunca asistió en hacer el concentrado.
No.
No.
Did he add concentrate to distilled water as part of making the water?
Le agregaba el concentrado al agua distilada para hacer el real water.
Sí.
Yes.
And was that called anything?
¿Y le llamaban algo a eso?
Como liga y también se podría llamarle, ¿cómo se llama?
As lead guy, you can also call it, what do you call it?
El que tiene que chequear tienes que chequear las aguas que estén al número que debe ser.
You have to check the waters to make sure that they're at the numbers that they should be.
Okay. Was there generally a certain amount of concentrate he added to the water?
Había una cantidad específica de concentrado que le agregaba él al agua.
¿Le agregaba yo al agua?
That I added to the water?
Right.
Sí.
Sí, no sé, era un galón y era cada un galón por cada tanque de agua.
Yes, it was 1 gallon per every tank of water.
La mitad de un galón.
Half of a gallon.
1/2 of a gallon of concentrate?
La mitad de galón en cuanto a concentrado.
Sí.
Yes.
And how many gallons in each tank?
¿Y cuántos galones en cada tanque?
Era medio galón en un tanque de... no me acuerdo qué tan grande era el tanque, no me acuerdo cuántos galones tenía el tanque, pero era un tanque.
It was half a gallon in one tank. I don't remember how big the tank was.
Okay. Some persons have testified they put 5 gallons for every 100 gallons of water. Does that sound familiar?
Ahora, ¿les suena conocido de que muchas personas dicen que eran 5 galones a cada 100 galones de agua? ¿Eso les suena conocido a usted?
Sí.
Yes. Yes, something like that.
Okay. Here, let me show you.
Déjeme le muestro.
Yeah.
Okay, on exhibits 16, there's a picture.
Ahora, en el artículo de prueba número 16 hay una foto.
Ok, ya. Sí, es
Okay, yes.
con lo que testeamos el agua.
Yes, that's what we test the water with.
Okay, what did he call that?
¿Y cómo le nombra usted a este aparato?
El testeador, puede ser.
The tester, it could be, the tester.
And did he test the water? Did someone else on his crew test the water?
¿Y usted es el que revisaba el agua o alguien más en su equipo es el que lo hacía?
La mayoría de veces era yo, mi compañero, que era otro supervisor, y a una mujer de la oficina también las tenía que checar cada
It was
hora.
me, my worker, and another person that worked at the office would be the ones that would check it.
Okay, and what were they testing for?
¿Y qué es lo que estaban ustedes probando o revisando?
Pues la verdad nos daban solo un número y nos decían que tenía que estar entre ese nivel del número que nos daban.
Well, to be honest with you, they would just give us a number and they would tell us that it would have to fall within those numbers they gave us.
Okay, and were the numbers -200 to -350?
Y los números eran negativo 200 a negativos 350.
Creo que sí, no me acuerdo mucho de verdad.
I think so. I don't remember much about the numbers.
And if the numbers were, the numbers were not where they were supposed to be, did he add more concentrate?
Y si los números no estaban donde deberían estar, usted le agregaba más concentrado.
No mucho, lo que cambiaba mucho era el potasio.
Not much. What changed the most was the potassium.
Okay, but sometimes they added concentrate.
Pero en ocasiones agregaban concentrado.
Creo que sí, unas cuantas veces.
I think so, a few times.
And they added the concentrate to make it a greater negative number?
Y agregaban el concentrado para hacerlo un número mayor negativo.
Ya, depende cómo estuviera. Si estaba muy bajo, pues para subirlo, si estaba teníamos que,
Yeah.
que
It
llegar.
depended. It depended if it was too low so that we could raise it. So yes, we would have to look.
And what is the most concentrate he remembers adding? 5 gallons, 7.5?
¿Y cuál es el concentrado mayor que usted recuerda haber agregado? 5.
No más de 5.
No more than 5.
Okay, so he put in the initial 5 gallons, and then sometimes he would add another 5 gallons of concentrate.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because it was a gallon. Well, and then it was 5 gallons, and then we had to add the half of it.
Ya.
Yeah.
Y luego si lo que está muy bajo se le agregaba un poquito más, no otro galón, sino un poco de la otra mitad que quedaba.
And then if it was too low, we would have to add more, not another gallon, but the other half that was remaining.
Did you add 2.5 gallons at times after the first 5 gallons?
Usted le agregaba 2,5 galones en ocasiones después de haber agregado los 5 galones.
¿Crees que pueda hablarle un poco en inglés y lo que no entienda te puedo avisar para que me traduzcas?
Do you think that I could speak in English and I can just use the interpreter whenever I can?
Sure, if you can
Express
understand
myself.
well enough.
Sí, si usted puede entender suficientemente, sí lo puede hacer.
Okay, so we will have like a big gallon. We had 2 gallons, the big ones, where the water would get mixed. And for each gallon, it was half of a gallon of a 5 gallon. It was like a 5 gallon. And for one of those big tanks, for each one was half a gallon. So we would pour half a gallon, and then we would let it get mixed, we would let the water get mixed, and then we would taste it. And if we needed some more, then we used a little bit of the other half of the 5 gallons. Not another gallon, just a little bit of the other half.
So you would take half of a 5 gallon and put it in, could you say it one more time?
Yeah, we would take half of the 5 gallon and put it in the big tanks where the water would get mixed.
Okay, and how much was in the big tanks?
Well, I think it was what you just told me, like it was 100, I don't remember.
100 gallons?
Yeah, I think it was 100 gallons.
Okay.
I'm not sure, I get confused with the gallons, but it was, I think it was, he had the number, the last number on top was 100.
Okay.
And we would use like 5 gallons of the concentrate.
So there was a set amount of concentrate you used at the very beginning, 2.5 or 5 gallons, is that correct?
Yes.
And then if you took the measurement, it wasn't negative enough, you would add more concentrate, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And can you recall how much concentrate you added on those occasions?
Those occasions, not that much more. It was just barely, like half of the half that was left in the gallon.
Okay. And so if the gallon was a 5 gallon and you added 2.5, half of a half would be 1.25 gallons. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, you think you would put 2.5 gallons of concentrate in, and if the reading was low, you would add another 1.25 gallons concentrate. Is that right?
Yes.
And this was this done on each and every batch that you made?
Yes.
And you were just making retail bottles as opposed to 5-gallon jugs, is that correct?
¿Me podrías traducir eso, por favor?
Y solamente estaban haciéndolo en botellas para vender no al mayoreo, sino al minoreo.
Como, sí, estamos haciendo la botella.
Yes, we were making the bottles.
The retail bottles.
Los que se venden al minoreo.
Sí.
Yes.
And you were not making the 5-gallon jugs.
Y usted no estaba haciendo los contenedores de 5 galones.
No, that was another department. We were only making like 500, the liters and the 1.5 liter bottles.
And were those the ones that went to Whole Foods and Costco and those kind of places?
Yes.
Now, did Real Water also have written procedures?
Yes.
Okay, like, for example, I have as Exhibit 1, a written procedure to define quality control points. You see that document?
Yes.
Okay, can you read that?
Read, you want me to read the paper?
Yeah, some of the witnesses suggested that there was a request made to translate some of these things into Spanish. Are you aware of that?
Yeah, well, I talked to the lady. She told me that there was going to be a translator just in case if I needed some help.
Okay. So you talked to someone at Real Water and they said they were providing a translator?
Oh, no, in Real Water, no, yeah, I was able to read it.
Oh, okay. So you can read this document?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, great. Have you ever seen this document prior to today?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, and you know what a critical control point is?
I don't remember.
Okay. You know what a HACCP team is? HACCP team?
Honestly, I don't remember. They would teach us all of that. Like, we used to have like classes and have like videos about it, and I just don't remember about it.
Okay. How often did you use these written procedures, if at all?
Like use them.
Did you use them on a day-to-day basis to do your job?
Not really. I mean, we knew what to do already. You know, we didn't have to.
Okay. And how did you know what to do?
They used to tell us. They used to teach us like what to do, how to do it, and that's how we knew.
Okay. On the document that I have as Exhibit 1, it talks about a Director of Quality Control. Do you see that title there?
Yes.
Who was the Director of Quality Control when you were there?
Director of Quality Control. It will be. It used to be it used to be a girl in the office, but they would change. You know, people they would get fired or something, and they would change. You know.
Do you remember anybody who was the Director of Quality Control?
I'm not sure, but I think I remember one girl.
And what's their name?
Shane,
Shani Castillo?
I believe so.
Okay. Anybody else other than that?
I remember another guy, but I don't know the name.
Tom Pham, perhaps? P-H-A-M?
I don't remember.
Patty Converse?
I remember.
You do remember her?
Yeah.
And what was her job position, if you remember?
Well, I was I'm not sure about it because like they were in the office and they will give them different jobs, not only one. You know, they will do different stuff like quality control, like taking care of the tests and stuff, and doing some other jobs in the office.
Okay. Okay, there was a warehouse where the pallets were stored, correct?
Yes.
Were there traps in there for rodents or mice?
Oh yes. Yeah, there was always. I'm not sure what it was, but I knew it was a guy that used to go like probably like once or twice a month to change something on those trucks.
And did you ever see evidence that there had been rodents or mice there?
No,
See any droppings from rodents or mice perhaps?
no.
Can you describe exactly what your first employment was at Real Water? We may have talked about this earlier, but can you give us some detail about what your first position was at Real Water?
Yes, it was just as a line worker. When you're a line worker, you do anything, any of the jobs that they told you to. Like you could be packing half of the day. You could be packing the water bottles into the bags, or in the other half you can be stealing the boxes and the other day you could be working with the boxes, putting them in the pallets, wrapping them. You would do different stuff every day.
So is it my understanding that you began working at Real Water in 2016?
Yes.
And how long did you work at Real Water?
If I'm not wrong, like 6 years.
6 years? So approximately till about 2022, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, wrong.
And your role, as you had just described previously, about doing a little bit of everything, is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, which shift did you work when you were working at Real Water?
Morning shift.
Was that from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
Yeah, it would change. Sometimes it would be from 4 a.m. to 3 or 6 a.m.
How many days a week did you work?
5 or 6 sometimes.
Now, did you get training when you began working at Real Water?
Yes.
And did you feel that your job training was adequate for you to do your job?
Yes.
Do you know where the concentrate was made?
Yes.
And where was that?
It was like a clean room right there in the same warehouse.
Would that be in the Desert Inn facility? And who made the concentrate to the best of your recollection?
It will be Lane.
It'd be Blaine Jones?
Yes.
Anyone else that you're familiar with or know that made the concentrate?
No.
Were you ever in that clean room?
No.
Did you obtain a food handler safety card? Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
When did you first receive the card? Let me state it this way. After you started working at Real Water, how long after you've been working did you receive the food handler safety card?
Probably like 10 months after.
And you received that from the Southern Nevada Health District? Is that correct?
Yes.
The best of recollection? Was there come a time after you began working at Real Water that your job title or duties changed?
Yes.
When did they change?
When?
Yes, how long after you began working at Real Water did your job title or duties change?
When I first started, like a year later, I was a lead guy. Then 2 years later, I was a supervisor. And probably like 4 years later, I would change. I changed to make the bottles. I used to run the blow machine that was blow the plastic bottles, and I was an operator, a blower. And then probably like a year after, I was supervisor of the blower.
When you were an employee at Real Water, did you take your job serious?
Yes.
Did you work hard?
Yes.
Did you value your job?
Yes.
Did your immigration status affect how you perform your job whatsoever?
No.
Now, you were paid every 2 weeks, is that correct?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that in any given 2 week period, you worked almost 90 hours?
Yeah.
Were you treated well at Real Water?
Yes.
At the time that you were employed at Real Water in Desert Inn and at Mesa, did you have any concerns with the production of Real Water?
Nope.
Did you have any concerns while you were working at Real Water that it was not safe to consumers or those individuals who were buying and drinking it?
Can you repeat that again?
When you were working at Real Water, did you have any concerns that Real Water was not safe for those people buying it and drinking it?
No.
Would you voice your concerns to someone if you had any at the time you were working at Real Water?
Yeah.
For the entire time you were there, you didn't hear any cases of people vomiting?
I heard that it was bad to drink the water from the line because you might start throwing up. Besides that, no.
And who told you that if you drank the water from the line, you would throw up?
The supervisor, because it was fresh water, we will have to let it rest probably like 1 day or 2.
And did you ever drink the water from the line yourself?
No.
That concludes that presentation, Your Honor.
Is that witness for all purposes?
We excuse him for all purposes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counsel for Plaintiff.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, appreciate this juncture, Counsel. For Defense, do you want to call your next witness in your case in chief?
Yes, Your Honor. Real Water would call Michael Bush by way of pre-recorded video testimony.
Okay. Counsel, you'll let court know when it's a good time to stop.
Yes, Your Honor. We'll keep an eye on it.
Feel free to proceed.
Solemnly swear that the testimony of this matter is the whole truth and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Yes, I do.
Can you tell me the, can you describe your educational background, please?
Yeah, military training, and let's see, I went to college, some college. Let's see, I'm an adjuster now, got an adjuster's license, that's about it. A lot of military training, but also with Nestle, I worked for Nestle for many years.
Okay, when did you graduate from high school?
A couple of years ago, 1983, June 83.
And after that, you went into the military?
That's right. I went in the military, I went in the military 85. 85, got out in 2006. Reserve and then active duty after 911 for like 5 years.
Okay, so you were in the military for approximately 20 years?
Right, 22 years actually, total time.
And which branch?
Started off in Navy Reserves and then went at National Guard, and after 911 got activated for active Army.
Okay, so how long were you in the active Army?
About 5 years, I'd say 5 years.
Where were you stationed?
I was in Stockton, California and Sacramento, California for force protection after 911.
And did you have any particular thing you were trained for?
Let's see, I was a staff sergeant. I had a group of people out there, just security forces, that's it.
So you were basically security?
Right, security. And Navy, I was a draftsman, CBs actually, CBs in the Navy.
And that's spelled SEABEES?
Right, that's correct, in the Navy, that's right.
And after you left the military in 2006, what did you do?
Well, I was working for Nestle after that since 88. I worked for Nestle from 88 all the way till 2014. So I left Nestle and then I came right back to work. And I was production supervisor for Nestle evaporated milk plant in Modesto, California at that time. I had been distribution center supervisor before that. I went back there to Nestle in Modesto, California. Worked out for about 6 months and I was promoted into a SAP implementation team for Nestle Foods USA and did that. And then I went to Nestle Water Company. Did that for about 6 months. They were in the middle of SAP implementation, had some trouble. Helped them out with that, myself and like 14 people around the country. And then went to Nestle Purina in St. Louis, Missouri. Did that, and then was back and forth St. Louis, California, so I ended up moving back to California and worked for Dryer's Ice Cream in Bakersfield, California. I was a pre-manufacturing supervisor. Then I got hired on with Johnson & Johnson Diversity Chemical in sales and sales rep throughout California from Bakersfield to the border of Oregon, California. I did that until Sealed Air Corporation bought the diversity end of the California division. And at that point, I worked for iCrack, startup company in San Francisco. ICRAP.
Okay, all right. And did that take us up to real water?
I just went out. I met my wife in San Francisco. We flew to Vegas to get married. 2 months later, we decided to move to Vegas, and I moved to Vegas October of 2018. I didn't move here without any work, and I got hired out of Real Water, I think, right November, beginning of November, I believe, and then left Real Water. It was 2018, left Real Water, I think April, maybe May at the latest of 2019. So.
Okay, so you were with Real Water from November 2018 to April 2019, correct?
Right.
Okay, so what time period were you involved with Nestle Waters as opposed to the foods or the other branches?
It was a very short amount of time. Let's see, maybe around January of 2007 to, no, hold on, 2007. Maybe January 2008 and maybe March 2008. Plus or minus a few months there, I think, or a month.
And what was your job position?
We implementation team, SAP, we're just, there was just helping them get the system up and going because they didn't do proper training in the Nestle Waters SAP division. And we should show them how to receive product in their container ships outside of Long Beach and New Jersey. That way we come in, they can receive them properly in the system. So to show them how to get a receiving system, work with shipping and receiving coordinators.
Okay. Was that a quality control function or a?
No quality control of the water part.
Okay. And with regards to the different type of Nestle's waters, I think you mentioned Perrier is one of them.
Right, Perrier, San Pellegrino, Nestle Waters at that time, and then of course the secure Nestle Water you see at Walmart, that type of thing.
Okay.
And Arrowhead Water, there's one up in, I think Ozark, there's Ozark Water made in Poland Springs.
Okay.
Different brand they have over in Florida too.
How did it come to your attention that a job position was opened at Water in November 2018?
Maybe Indeed or something like that. I think I was really hotly hunting for jobs when I got here. Interviewed all over the place, and I walked into the front counter, and some human resources lady or somebody said, "You might make a good fit." Have me come in. I think I spoke to Amy Jones. She interviewed me. I think Blaine Jones might interview me too.
Okay, and would this have been at the DI location?
Excuse me?
Would this interview have been at the Desert Inn location?
Desert Inn, right? I was going to Desert Inn. That's correct. Okay,
so you were interviewed by Amy Jones and maybe Blaine Jones, correct?
Right, maybe I'm pretty sure Blaine, because I reported him eventually, but Amy was the main decider, I think.
Okay, and what job position, if any, were you applying for?
Production manager was open, so I applied for that one.
Huh?
Production manager was?
You what? Oh, how did she open that?
With the previous one.
Let's
I
just-
didn't,
can you pause that
skip
for a quick
over it,
second,
didn't have
please?
one.
Is that in the video?
Make a copy for real. What is that? No, I just.
It may be somebody who's listening in, who has to put themselves on mute. That's the reason why I want to make sure you all get a clear record. That's what I was asking. Is that in the video itself?
It is not, Your Honor.
Okay, so then this is the friendly reminder. As much as we love kids, got two of my own, we need to make sure that anybody who's listening remotely, please make sure yourself on mute. Thank you so very much, because we're in the middle of trial testimony. Appreciate it. Sorry for the interruption, everyone. Okay. So let's go back on. Thank you so much.
Fine, right, I think Obed was like the lead, forgot his last name, the lead person in there, the production manager for the whole place. So maybe there was not someone there before me. It's been a couple of years. But I didn't meet the previous person.
Does the name Shani Castillo sound familiar?
Yes. Dio, I don't know if she was production. She was doing something there, but she was pretty sharp out of it. But she was still there doing some other details there. I'm not for sure if she was or not, if she wanted to be, I'm not sure.
Okay, she was working there at Real Water at the time you worked there, correct?
Right, she was there. I remember seeing her, but I bet she had a job somewhere else.
Okay. Were you hired as production manager?
Yes, it was. Parts enough, yes.
Did you serve as production manager until you departed in April or May of 2019?
I served until, I think beginning of April, something like that. And then they wanted to keep me on there. They liked me, and I ended up doing 5-gallon HOD sales. Did that for like 2 or 3 weeks, and convictions weren't very clear enough. It was paying it, so I ended up driving lift up to that.
Okay, so you only worked at the 5-gallon HOD sales for approximately 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, right, that's that, really. It was really kind of a spot operation after that point.
Who took your place as production manager?
Amy Jones did, because she said they couldn't afford to keep me there anymore. The production was down. And same thing up, the controller was taken over by Blaine Jones. He got let go within a day or so, after something like that.
Okay. What were your duties and responsibilities as production manager?
The duties responsibility, running a crew, small crew, I forgot it was 10 or 14, something like that. And I think I worked both shifts. There was the first and the second shift. And there's a bottling line. And they were making cases, and the people were making cases in the case machine. They weren't always perfect, so they put some glue on them. After the bottles went into the cases, the whole team on the end was gluing them up. Make sure the labeler was always working right. Just make sure production had a goal every day. I don't know what the goal was again. That was. I kind of used my Nestle experience to kind of pump people up in there. Let's go. And use some rewards or whatever. So we got a luncheon form, I think, for maybe some goal, maybe more like a team environment there, so the top-down environment, did that. And I did this, what's the Beach Grove, you probably have it. I think Milwaukee was there, someone's there.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
I ordered the Milwaukee things, and what else did I do? I think Blaine had me put some money in the bank once in a while. That was one of my duties doing that. Make sure all the machinery is working right, reporting to Blaine if anything was going wrong on there, if we needed more water. I get Blaine, didn't want us doing that on our own, went to a special little water room, he had like a little cabinet, like a locker. We got that portion, went to open the locker, it's no, you need to leave. That's a proprietary blend thing, whatever he's got going on. But I did my job was also doing a pH probes of this meter. And I was testing the water, it's supposed to be every couple of hours, every hour, I forgot exactly what it was, either myself or a bed were doing that. And that was just verifying the pH levels in the water.
All right, let's break it down then. You said there were 2 shifts?
At the time, there were 2 shifts. They were trying to go 3 shifts. I forgot if we did that for a while or not. Right, at least 2 shifts.
Can you tell me the approximate times of each shift?
I believe it was 5 a.m. Actually made the schedules. I don't have my email anymore for that. I think it was 5 a.m. to midday, and then midday till 8 hours, I believe it was 8 hours, each one.
So you think it was 5 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then 1 p.m. to 9 p.m.?
I believe that sounds about right.
Okay. And you said you worked both shifts. Is that correct?
I worked the middle shift. I worked both. I worked in the middle. I came in at 8 and I went supposed to come home around, I think 5 p.m. or so. Sometimes he came in later. Sometimes was trouble. I stayed at the very end.
So you were there approximately 9 to 5 during the day?
Pretty much, right? Pretty much.
5 days a week, 6 days a week?
5 days a week, 6 days a week if needed.
So during the time period you were there, November 2018 to April 2019, what types of products were being produced in the terms of 1 millimeter, 5 millimeter, 5 gallon? What types of products were being produced on your assembly line?
I don't know if you have pictures of those things in here somewhere, but the main was the main majority. The one you see in Costco is the main one we ran all the time. And there was a smaller one, a little bit smaller one. I was overseeing that. Then once in a while, we ran the 5 gallons in a separate room. And then Blaine eventually set up another special 5 gallon area near the restroom in the back on the side over there. So, but I was watching over the main caseable items for Costco. That was the biggest customer at the time.
Okay. And Costco was not buying 5 gallon jugs, were they? Or were they buying 5 gallon?
Not when I was there. I don't remember any Costco stuff.
Okay, now there's been some testimony that there were 2 production lines and then they were expanded to 3. How many were when you were there?
Boy, I was doing the one line in the main room. There's another room. You couldn't get it to work that well. It's a 5 gallon in the little room. I was talking of making that a larger, or maybe moving that 5 gallons to probably another room outside of that. So there's one main line, but it would switch out. They would change the bottling configuration to handle smaller bottles. Squash it down a little bit. And it wasn't me as a mechanic that was set up on that, but I would be watching over.
Okay, so you had 1 line during the time you were there, correct?
One line in regular consumer product, right?
Okay, and you made 1 liter bottles, correct?
1 liter bottles, and there's a smaller one. I forget what it was, about half the size, I believe.
Okay.
There was also one monster size they made too, larger than that. Made the 1 liter. So that'd be 3 different sizes.
Okay, but they were all bottles.
All bottles.
As opposed to the 5 gallon jugs.
Right. They were doing the 5 gallon jugs, and I oversaw that in the back, and that was machines weren't working that well back there. The plane was kind of watching over that part of it.
Now, when you made both the 1 liter and the other bottle sizes in the 5 gallon jugs, did you use the same concentrate for both of them?
Yes, it all came out of the same containers, but I saw some pictures of them saying just piped over down.
Okay, so we've been told that the concentrate was pre-made. Is that your recollection?
Well, like I said, it was a special room in the back, and Blaine would you want to make it, you turn on a couple valves, regular PVC valves you see on the sprinklers, that type of thing. And they ran into a little, like a Academy State High School or something like that. Went on one side, came out to the side, and KFC special ingredients, if you proprietary against it, so that's okay. So I don't know exactly what was going on, that whole thing, what was being added to it, or
Okay.
it's electrical system, I don't know for sure what happened there, but
So you were not involved in the concentrate mixing process, correct?
absolutely.
And you don't, okay, and you don't know what chemicals they were using, if any, in the concentrate?
Well, I know they had our team Obed go up to the top of this drum right before the bottling line, and I think it was sodium bicarbonate. It's like just like a little bit, like a spoonful or something they put on top. Walk over the ladder, open this little like a lid, throw it in there, every once in a while. I don't know for sure what Obed's direction was on that, but he worked with Blaine on how often I got put. I did order it on Amazon because we're trying to save money out there.
And that was done after you added the concentrate to the water, correct?
Right after whatever process came, the water would be huge containers, and then we pumped over to this little smaller drum right for the boiler room. And that smaller drum, when it filled up, a bed or another lead would just dump in some on the top of it.
And was the concentrate made every 6 to 8 months?
I think it's more often than that when we were running.
Okay.
Pretty kind of heavy out there.
Was it was,
a week, maybe, I think, possibly.
it wasn't made daily, correct?
I just did it maybe, I don't know.
You think it was made weekly or monthly?
No, they got us probably weekly, and we had I think 3 or 4 containers, so the drums would sit there. They empty one out, production wasn't that fast, so the drums would just sit there full.
Okay, but other than Blaine Jones, no one else made the concentrate?
No, it was his baby there.
Now, with regards to the concentrate at the Desert Inn location, the same concentrate was used for the 5-gallon jugs made at Desert Inn as well as the 1 liter in the other bottles, correct?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Okay.
We Blaine give you a better specific side of the detail.
Yes. You hired a lot of people from jails?
I didn't, but yeah, they did. It was a good system I think they had. Had a few issues here and there, but I dealt with them. Yeah, that wasn't all the people, believe me. I don't want to sound like it's, hey, it's 95%, maybe 5-10% of the people there.
Okay.
Good work. Good work.
Prior to working on the real water production line, had you ever worked on a food or water production?
Oh, yes, for sure. And that's the evaporated milk plant. We did that. I oversaw the whole operation there from start to finish. They brought in like 21 trucks a day of raw milk and with their homogenizer, evaporators. There they get canned and they get put in the sterilizer that goes up and it gets onto a bidirectional machine and then it gets labeled, packed, and shipped. I was there watching the whole thing. There was a whole quality control team, lab team that did the testing on it.
Okay. And that was a Nestle milk plant, correct?
The only Nestle evaporated milk plant. If you ever make pumpkin pie at all, there's one location.
And other than the Nestle milk plant, had you ever worked on a food or water plant line other before coming to real water?
Oh, no, I don't. Reaching back there, no, never worked on like that. Hold on a second, hold on. Nestle Dryer's ice cream. Did it be manufactured? We had the largest ice cream plant in the world there in Bakersfield, like 35 miles ice cream, skinny cow, dryers on it. Slow churn stuff, and I was watching over all the pre-manufactured before this wall that goes to production. We'd have to make sure the ingredients, chocolate chips, peanut butter, jelly, strawberries, everything were ready to roll and pumped into these vats, and then they'd be pumped on the line the next day. That'd be ready to go at 6 a.m. in the morning.
Okay, and that Dryers is spelled Dryers.
Right, that's right. Dryers, Nestle Dryers ice cream.
All right. Now, when you first arrived at Real Water, did they have a quality control director?
I don't. Always Sonny Blaine was pretty much overall all in control there. Maybe Amy too, I'm not really sure.
Okay, and you got there November 2018, correct?
That's right.
Okay, so according to the Exhibit 18, you got Exhibit 18 there?
She got page 18, NSF International Bottled Water Plant Audit.
Right.
Really big deal.
Okay, are you familiar with NSF?
Yes.
Okay, and were you there that day when an NSF person came on December 6, 2018?
Oh, I'm sure I was, yes. You know, walked around behind the whole team there.
Okay, NSF report, if you look at 80, the number 86 on the bottom, there's a document number.
6, I see it right here.
Okay, and the note says, quote, "There was no qualified individual to provide a level of competency necessary for production of clean and safe product. Note that the QA director has resigned," unquote. Do you see that?
Well, yes, I absolutely see that. QA director, who the heck was that?
Does that,
What date was this?
this was December 6th, 2018.
7/6. Who was it? What's it? Can you give me a name? Who it was, or can you worry about? I know some guy came in for a short amount of time. He left.
Okay, that was Mr. Pham, Tom Pham,
Right, that rings a bell, right?
and that was after this time period, correct?
Maybe, I think he actually got that security civic. I think he might have been there. Did something happen where he just showed up to work and then he was, so I don't remember exactly what happened, but if he was there that day or day before, I could understand that because I do remember that person's name. I remember him being around and there's some issues with that person there, but anyway, yeah. He could have been the QA director, he could have been.
Was there a quality control director that resigned when you were there?
Not a name as such. I mean, this other fan person, he was going to actually take my position. It was going to be a level between myself and Blaine. He was going for that, so maybe he was going to be that person. But a special quality, no, it wasn't that.
Your Honor, we've broken it up there just so we can take our.
Sure.
recess.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go to lunch. It's 12:15. Ask you to come back at 1:15 during this lunch recess. Actually, no, I better tell you 1:25. I'll tell council 1:15. During this lunch recess, you are admonished not to talk, to converse among yourselves or with anyone else on any subject connected with this trial. You must not read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial, or any person or entity connected with the trial by any medium of information, including without limitation, social media, text, tweets, newspapers, television, internet, radio, anything I've not stated specifically is also included. Do not visit the scene of the events mentioned during the trial. Do not undertake any research, experimentation, or investigation. Do not do any posting or communications on any social networking sites. Do not do any independent research, including but not limited to internet searches. And do not form or express any opinion on any subject connected to the case that's fully and properly submitted to the time of jury deliberation. With that, have a nice relaxing lunch. Thank you so very much.
Roger, reaction. Have you seated?
Appreciate things much. So council, we wish you a nice lunch. See you back at 1:15. You can address your administrative matters at that time, okay?
Thank you.
In the presence of the jury. So for council, understand, are you doing the exhibit issue first or the motion first?
We do the exhibit list. I have confirmed with Joel Odou for Real Water. I've confirmed this with Mr. Pepperman, the exhibits that they want to move in, and Mr. Pepperman could either provide the written list to the court or just read them off, whatever's easiest.
And these are already in the proposed electronic exhibits, right, in the same format, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Exhibit 20.
Exhibit 20 by agreement. Okay, so is counsel for Real Water, you're going to have to speak up if one of these is not within your listing of being agreed, because Court Willow is going to have Ms. Pepperman read the list and then just say, check with you at the end. There are all those exhibits admitted pursuant to the agreement of parties, and then you have a no.
That's fine. We can do them all at once, Your Honor. These are not objected to at all.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Exhibit 20, Exhibit 77, Exhibit 82, Exhibit 399. I'm sorry, Your Honor, court's indulgence.
20, 77, 82, 399 is where we are so far.
It's 399, Exhibit 412, Exhibit 413, Exhibit 590, Exhibit 591, and Exhibit 592.
Okay.
Joel Odou for Real Water, we agree.
Okay, thank you. And previously you had, the last break, had said that Exhibit 71 was the urethans came in, correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Exhibit 7 is.
Oh, sorry, 7, I
Yes.
said 71, I meant to say 7, my apologies, thank you for the correction. Okay. So that take care of all the exhibits that plaintiff needed to bring in?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Now plaintiff has really rested? Is that correct? Sorry, meaning you've taken care of all your exhibits, you've taken care of all your witnesses, shall we deem it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, no worries. Okay, thank you. So now I understand counsel for Real Water.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Go
Joel
ahead.
Odou for Real Water. Your Honor, we would move under Nevada Rules of Civil Procedure Rule 50, judgment as a matter of law as to plaintiff's punitive damages claim. In particular, Your Honor, we were focusing in on the issue of conscious disregard of knowledge of the probable harmful consequences of a wrongful act and a willful and deliberate failure to avoid these consequences. Your Honor, the evidence is undisputed, starting with Dr. Najim, that this was not an expected result of the manufacturing process of Real Water. In fact, Dr. Najim had never heard of this happening in the water industry before. The witnesses to date have also said that this was unexpected, and we will, once Real Water finishes this case, we'll have some additional witnesses who will say this was not expected. Your Honor, I would expect that the plaintiff's counterargument would be that conscious disregard and knowledge of the probable harmful consequences of a wrongful act is very broad, and it doesn't have to be the specific act, in this case, the manufacture of hydrazine, and certainly that's what the case law supports. However, what we would argue is that you can't award punitive damages for negligence unless it rises to the level of conscious disregard, and that has not been shown. We understand that Dr. Hutt had 5 different categories of reasons why, in her opinion, I presume punitive damages should be awarded. We have 2 points to that. One of them is that Dr. Hutt was not designated as an expert on punitive damages, but more importantly, all of those reasons that she cites at best are negligence and not conscious disregard. And so for those reasons, we do not believe punitive damages should go to the jury and move for judgment as a matter of law under NRCP Rule 50.
Okay, is Rule 50 your only basis?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sorry, is Rule 50 your only basis? I
Yes,
didn't
Your
hear any citation to any particular case that you were doing. That's just where I was going.
Yes, Your Honor, that is our basis.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you. Counsel for plaintiff, would you like to be heard in response?
Yes, Your Honor. We look at the punitive damages claim as being based upon 4 different prongs. The first prong concerns quality assurance. The second prong pertains to the complaint investigating procedure. Third prong pertains to the initial testing. And the fourth prong pertains to the recall or the lack of recall when they had actual knowledge of the problem. So in each of these prongs, there's lots of evidence of willfulness. On the quality assurance one, Dr. Hutt told us what she thought quality assurance should be. I mean, these people, half the time they didn't have a quality assurance director, and when they did, they had people like the receptionist. And that was a conscious decision, Your Honor. They consciously made that receptionist into the quality assurance director, and she testified she didn't have the experience or training to be a quality assurance director. And, and then they were told specifically about the problem, especially in that 2018 NSF audit, which made a finding that no one here is competent to make safe drinking water. That's what they were told. So if they had any illusions that they could get by with this receptionist quality assurance director program before, that should have laid it to bed, and they should have done something about it. So quality assurance, I think, is the first prong. The second prong is the whole testing. So you heard Dr. Najim testify that it would cost $100 to $1,000 to do this broad range screening test, which is the GCMS, I'll just say for now. So that's what they should have done at the outset. And when Mr. Marlowe came on, he even said that he would have expected a bottling company to do that kind of broad range test, and nothing was done. So they're claiming that they didn't know to test for hydrazine. you don't have to test for the specific toxin. They should have done something in broad that would have encompassed that and everything else, but they didn't. They just sold this water to the public, and the only testing was what Mr. Marlowe did on himself. So that's the second prong, and that was a conscious decision not to do the testing. And then during the next 12 years, when they had all these problems come up, never once did they consider, hey, let's test the whole product, and that takes us, I think, to the complaints. First of all, the complaint investigative procedure, Dr. Hutt laid out what it should have been. Patty Converse said what they actually did. Okay, they should have taken these complaints seriously, done an investigation, traced it back, figured out what was the problem in the manufacturing process. Instead, according to Patty Converse, the receptionist that turned into the quality assurance, customer complaints were handled by the sales department. She was not even seeing most of the customer complaints. And the sales department was headed by one of the owners, which was Amy Jones. So there's a conscious decision right there, Your Honor, that they've decided to handle the complaints in that fashion. I got that. Yeah, that's see right here. Okay. So, Your Honor, that's what Patty Converse said. And then now let's look at the complaints. We had two complaints that they filed. Now, the customer, of course, didn't know that was hydrazine or potentially hydrazine, but this is a case where they put rocket fuel in bottled water. You would think that two complaints about gasoline-like substances would be a big red flag. Apparently, no one even saw those complaints. Converse didn't see them. Desitel didn't see them. Both of whom were supposedly quality assurance directors. So in the case law we talked about earlier, we had 5 different cases, and they held that ignoring one complaint justified punitive damages as conscious disregard. Here we've got at least 20, but I'm just going to focus on the 4 that were admitted in the email. So you have the 2 complaints about the gasoline-like substance. You've got Mrs. Dorn, trying to bring this problem to their attention. 3 people getting sick. You have Mr. Watkins' email. He's in the hospital for a week, and in the email it specifically says the doctor is attributing it to the water. No investigation whatsoever. None whatsoever. And then we get to Mr. Desitel's testimony. He didn't see all these complaints. If he'd seen them, he would have shut down the line. Okay, so he was supposedly the quality assurance director. So that's the complaint prong. I've done the testing prong. And let's get what I think is the worst behavior that they committed here. So Blaine Jones gets sick October 5th. He's out of action for 2-3 weeks, let's say. So he knows he's had this serious incident. And then they have all during the opening on October 15th, there were so many customers calling that they assigned one man, Anthony Brown, as being running point on it. Okay, that's October 15th. All right. Then we have Mr. Randolph's testimony. Mr. Randolph said that he went in and talked to Blaine Jones and said, Blaine, you have got to do a recall. Blaine told him no. A couple of days went past. He went back in again and said, Blaine, you got sick. 2 people I know have got sick. We have all these complaints. You have got to do a recall. Again, he said, that is really, I don't want to call it a poor decision. I think that was an outrageous decision. But after that point in time, we have 3 different plaintiffs go to the hospital. So if they had just done a recall, we wouldn't have the situation where people are trying to investigate whether their house is giving them poison, not knowing. They could have just done a recall, and they would have saved at least 3 of the plaintiffs in this case. But they made the decision. So there's no recall in October. There's no recall in November. There's no recall in December. No recall in January. No recall in February. And then finally, when the government is breathing down their neck, when the FDA is out there investigating, finally, on March 21st, there's a recall. So these people made a conscious decision not to do a recall for 5 months. Not only did they not recall the product that was out there, they kept selling it. They kept selling the product for these 5 months, exposing more and more members of the public to this hazard. And so for those 4 reasons, we think that there's sufficient evidence to present the punitive claim to the jury. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Counsel, would you like your last word? Because Joel.
Yes, Your Honor, thank
Go
you
ahead,
very
please.
much. Joel Odou for Real Water. Starting with Blaine Jones, Your Honor, the evidence is actually quite clear that Blaine Jones got sick. And not only did he get sick, he didn't understand why he got sick. He didn't believe it was the water. He took out a GoFundMe page because he needed to pay for his medical bills. And so the fact, and Blaine Jones said it best, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. So nowhere in his imagination, and maybe it's a failure of imagination, but nowhere in his imagination did he believe that the water is what made him sick. And, you know, I don't think there hasn't been any evidence of a conscious disregard by Blaine. If anything, the evidence says that he wouldn't wish this on anyone. He got very sick. He didn't draw the connection between real water, consuming real water, and being sick until much later. In fact, he didn't even draw that connection until hydrazine was found in the water. As far as Mr. Desito ran the production line. So asking somebody who's not responsible to respond to complaints, if they responded to complaints, is a straw man, Your Honor. As far as Mr. Watkins goes, again, we have shown that Mr. Watkins' wife was complaining about her husband has been told not to drink alkaline water, and we want a refund for our bottled water. We're not trying to scam you here. We don't need this BS. I'm paraphrasing her words. As far as the complaints cited by plaintiffs, in particular, exhibits 56 and 57, those are the Chevron complaints. As we saw, they were investigated. Somebody from Real Water went out and bought additional bottles, talked to the people at the Chevrons. It says right there on the complaints. And so to say those complaints were not investigated is not accurate. They were investigated. And again, the issue is clear and convincing evidence of conscious disregard. Investigating a complaint, even if it's not the way somebody at a Fortune, I don't know, I guess McDonald's not even a Fortune 500 company, was it a $1 billion company? Just because Real Water didn't investigate complaints the way a $200 billion company like McDonald's would investigate complaints, it's not the same standard, Your Honor. It's not a fair standard. They did investigate it, and it doesn't show a conscious disregard. The fact that they didn't discover that it was hydrazine, again, no one knew that there was hydrazine in the water. In fact, Dr. Najim has admitted that no one tests for hydrazine in the water. And we'll hear momentarily that, or actually we heard after the close of the plaintiff's case, it's probably not fair for me to cite it, but we've heard it, that municipal water companies don't test for hydrazine. So for all of those reasons, Your Honor, again, you don't punish and award punitive damages against somebody who's made a mistake. And clearly Blaine Jones made a mistake in the concentrate manufacturing process and in his conclusion that he got liver failure from some other reason. And that's not a reason to punish the company, Your Honor. That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Okay, this motion is made under NRCP 50, judgment is a matter of law. If a party's been fully heard on an issue during the jury trial and the court finds that a reasonable jury would not have a legally sufficient evidentiary basis to find for the party on that issue, the court may, 1A, resolve the issue against the party, and B, grant a motion for judgment as a matter of law against a party on a claim or defense that under controlling law can be maintained or defeated only with the favor finding on that issue. So part 2, a motion for judgment as a matter of law may be made at any time before the case is submitted to the jury. The motion must specify the judgment sought and the law and facts that entitle the movement to the judgment. Okay, so here's where the court has to go. First prong, procedurally. Well, that's why the reason why the court was asking about the citation. I mean, citation, yes, implicitly, he's cited NRS 42, okay, because that's the punitive damages standard, and NRCP 50. But no case law that has anything that really is analogous was presented to this court in the motion. So what the court has to look at the statutory definitions. Conscious disregard, NRS 42.001. Conscious disregard means the knowledge of the probable harmful consequences of a wrongful act and a willful and deliberate failure to act to avoid those consequences. Fraud. Fraud means an intentional misrepresentation, deception, or concealment of a material fact known to the person with the intent to deprive another person of his or her rights or property or to otherwise injure another person. Malice, express or implied, means conduct which is intended to injure a person or despicable conduct which is engaged with the conscious disregard of the rights and safety of others. 4, oppression means despicable conduct that subjects a person to cruel and unjust hardship with a conscious disregard of the rights of that person. So when you're looking at the standards of NRS and then, okay. 42, applying it to the facts of this case as presented in the NRC P50 motion, it does not meet the standard. There's no basis for this court to take that decision away from the jury to determine whether or not punitive damages should or should not be given. Realistically, if you look at the 4 prongs that were raised by plaintiff with regard to quality assurance, the complaint procedure, the testing, and the recall, you go to the various witnesses' testimony, including that of Anthony Randolph. It's going to really be up to the jury to decide, was that a conscious disregard when they're being told that, look, people are getting sick, you got sick, and what should and should not have been done? With the various other complaints that were presented, we don't even know how they interpreted the alkaline water one. Was that a real water issue, or did they think it was just alkaline water and somehow it was sent to them and didn't apply to their company? The other complaints, all of those really are going to go to the jury to make that interpretation. Part of these are, well, then you got a witness testimony, whether or not they're going to believe or how they're going to feel Dr. Hutt's testimony. Was she only talking about Young Brands, Heinz, McDonald's, and Fortune 500s, or was she saying that any company should be doing this because HACCP does not have an individual monetary minimum threshold? In fact, that was stated, if you have most recently, well, do y'all want me to cite your most recent witness or not? Since regardless if I cite him or not, I mean, if you go straight for Dr. Hutt, you have it, okay? But then you have, in the best case scenario, at least you have one person saying there was some training, because you sure don't have it from Patty and your other potential quality control individuals, and even Mr. Marlowe's testimony. When you go to all of those factors, realistically, this needs to be left up to a jury to make the determination in accordance with NRS 42, whether or not there should be a second stage, i.e. punitive damages. The court does not find the standards of Rule 50 motion haven't met for the court to take it away from the jury, so I cannot grant things as a matter of law. It is so ordered. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have 2 quick housekeeping matters before we bring the jury in, if we may, just to make it go quicker, or we can take it later. We're going to be playing, after Michael Bush's testimony, a video recorded testimony of Brent Jones. I don't believe there's an objection to that. It was played in the last trial. It's the same one.
Brent or Blaine?
Brent first.
For Brent Jones, it's a portion of this, what was played before. Yeah, we're fine with what was sent to me, the 2.5 minute clip, or 2 minute, 49-second clip.
You're talking the same clip?
Yes, Your Honor. That's,
Double check.
we're going to check the time on it, but I think that's right. That is correct. Thank you, Your Honor. 2 minutes and 49 seconds.
Okay, so that's not an issue, anything for the court to jump into at this juncture, because nobody's contesting anything. Go ahead, so what's next? Michael Bush, Brent Jones, go ahead.
The next issue, housekeeping, is when we play Blaine Jones' testimony, he's going to refer to proposed exhibits for this case. We can move them in now. I don't think there's an objection to them, or we can move them in afterwards in front of the jury, just trying to be efficient.
Court has no preference. Counsel for plaintiffs, what do you want to do?
There are no objections to any of the proposed exhibits, so whatever Mr. Odou prefers is fine with us.
We would just prefer to move them in now so we don't forget.
No worries. Go ahead, please.
Exhibit 236. You want to just read them all off like we did last time? Exhibit 646. Exhibit 2424. Exhibit 2426. Exhibit 2040. Exhibit 2090. Exhibit 2179. And Exhibit 2228.
236, sorry.
I apologize.
I just was going to confirm 236, 646, 2424, 2426, 2040, 2090, 2179, and 2228. Is that correct?
That is correct.
I have no objections to any of those exhibits, Your Honor.
Okay, so all those exhibits will be deemed admitted. Thank you so very much.
We're ready to move forward, Your Honor.
Well,
Okay.
one more matter on the Blaine Jones.
Wait, hold on a second. I can't have multiple people talking at the same time. Let
Apologize,
me
Your
let
Honor.
Mr. Odou finish with his, and then we'll circle back to you, Mr. Pepperman, for
Mr. Pepperman reminded me, Your Honor, the Blaine Jones clip that will be played before the jury was taken in another trial, and Real Water is stipulating that that is not an issue, or we do not have an objection to it. It's not an issue that we will raise as to any type of prejudice to Real Water by showing that clip or any other consequences. We choose to treat it the exact same way we treated the prior witness whose trial testimony was shown. And we just wanted to alert the court that that issue is out there so the court doesn't see another courtroom and have a question.
Remember when we played Dr. Cosnet, we
Yeah.
secured, okay, we don't have objection to this, but I just want the court to be aware that there's probably a little more pretty obvious that this witness is on a witness stand in another trial.
Well, Your Honor, more than that, it's the Jabs video, so it changes and it gets it from different angles when Mr. Odou's questioning him. And there's people in the background, the plaintiffs from the Gallagher trial are in the background.
We don't have an objection, Your Honor. We just want you to know what it's going to be.
Okay. So are you all requesting that the court do anything, like let the jury know that by agreement this is being played or anything, or you just want it just to be played? I mean, are you
We just want to
requesting?
play it. We just didn't want the court to be concerned that it was being played and that there was some type of objection or issue for the court to address because the parties have stipulated to playing it.
Okay, I'm hearing you say you stipulate.
That's correct, Your Honor. We have no objection to them playing it.
So you stipulating that they can play it?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm just trying to see, I mean, if there's gonna be an issue, I'd rather help you all address it right now than wait
No,
till.
no issue, Your Honor.
Okay, no worries, there's no issues, court has no issue.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for.
Okay, there's none of the other prohibitive stuff in that, right? There's any of the other prohibited things that come up, meaning you all have funded from medical privacy issue, insurance, all those kind of other fun things that sometimes come up, right?
There shouldn't be those, Your Honor.
Okay.
For Real
So
Water.
the only issue realistically is that it shows the courtroom. Is that in essence what you're telling the court?
Shows a lot of the courtroom.
You all are okay with it? It's your case, as long as nobody has an issue with it. The court's not seeing that this is something that under the rules I should be intervening in, so.
We're okay with it, Your Honor.
Okay, both sides saying you're okay with it. So that means anything else, or should the jury be brought back in?
Jury can be brought back in. and-
Marshall, could you take this jury, please? Thank you so much.
All right.
Oh, they're absent, okay.
Jury entering.
Take a seat.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a nice lunch. If you may recall, the last witness is on the virtual stand to be continued to play. You can appreciate the court's not going to remind that witness that they're under oath because it's a playback. So, counsel, you feel free to proceed with regards to the witness. You want to state the name of the witness again, just so we have clarity?
Yes, Your Honor. Joel Odou, I guess we were recalling Michael Bush to continue his testimony.
Okay, Mr. Bush can be recalled by video, previously recorded by agreement of the parties. Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Jones, going.
Whew. Okay.
We're late now.
Okay. I'm not going to ask if anyone's having difficulty
So at
hearing
the
right now.
time of the 2018 NSF audit on December 6, 2018, Real Water did not have a quality control director.
No, I don't believe so. 'Cause I do remember that. Okay, now you're ringing my bell. I remember that Amy and them, Blaine said they had a really bad audit with Costco. They got to get this thing going here. And bring it up to speed. Maybe that's what they brought him on board, tighten things up. I'm sure that's what it was for.
Okay. So you heard that they had a bad audit with Costco referring to this Exhibit 18, correct?
Right, that's right, right.
And Costco was one of the major customers at the time?
I think they were the major customer at the time, I believe.
Okay, and other than
Part of regular consumable, 5 gallons was everybody else.
right, and other than hearing they had a bad audit, did you hear anything specific about the audit?
Let me look. You gotta look it over here for a minute. Just give me a second. The other audit, what was that tab again for the audit?
That's number 18.
Let's see if it looks down here. Give me a minute, looking over real quick to if anything rings a bell here.
Sure.
Right, this, what is this page here? You got page 3 of 17. Number 1, middle of the page there. That's about right. The positions were held by the VP of the VP, so that, I think that was Amy Jones and Blaine, you're kind of running those things. It's a smaller operation, in the head.
So in any event, in or around January of 2019, there was a concern at Real Water that there was a bad audit, correct?
Right, I mean, right, there was maybe a week or two after that, and there was buzz around the plant with Blaine and Amy, and they were really getting excited about that and get this audit up to speed, and you bid on this next audit, and even, I think there were rumors about they might even lose the Costco account, or
There was some discussion.
I don't know about rumors, I just remember the buzz around the plant.
You remember hearing some discussion about the potential of losing the Costco account because of this bad audit?
Right, they require a very high standard, they're like a Nestle operation there, what's your product, perfect, you know, for the consumer.
And did you hear discussion as to whether or not Real Water could continue in business if they lost the Costco account?
I wasn't on that level of discussion, no.
Okay. So in any event, sometime after this, December 6, 2018 inspection, they hired Mr. Pham, correct?
Right, Mr. Pham who was there.
And so, and then Tom Pham was made the Director of Quality Control, right?
There you go. Yes, he was.
And you said Tom Pham lasted just a brief period of time?
To my knowledge, I think maybe a month or 2 months, maybe.
Did he leave prior to the time you left?
Oh, yes, he did.
And do you know why Mr. Pham left?
I know he was not very happy when he was doing work in there. I don't know why, I don't know the details, but Amy told him or Blaine told him.
Did you witness any disagreements between Mr. Pham and anyone else at Real Water?
Oh, with myself, I disagree with him. He's just more talkative than action kind of guy. Anyway, I don't go too far on that, but nice personality, but for the position, he wasn't that strong of a leader at all. That's my input.
Did you think he was qualified?
No.
And why did you think he was qualified to be a quality control director?
Like I said, I worked for Nestle, and the higher standards, I was always talking to Amy and Blaine about changing things up over there. They could tighten up a bit, but he wasn't one of the people that just talks to management like he knows what's going on, but when he's not doing that, he's checking his phone and dating sites and things like that. He wasn't really engaged. That's good.
Okay. He would cuddle up to management, but he wasn't really doing his job.
Right, that's right. Maybe he was doing some good stuff behind the scenes, but I didn't see much.
Okay. Are you familiar with HACCP, HACCP?
Yes, hazardous control points, yes, I am.
And have you had HACCP training?
Years ago with Nestle, critical control points as a part of it.
Okay. And did you have any HACCP training at Real Water?
Oh, I really don't recall if I did. If I did, you probably have it in this note somewhere. I can review it, wouldn't you? Did I have some? You have a note in there?
I don't have any evidence of it.
I don't remember that. No.
Okay. Do you know whether or not Mr. Pham had any HACCP training?
No, I don't know.
Okay. But in your view, he was not qualified to be a quality control director.
Right, and just based on my experience in the past, I didn't see that in his blood.
Did you feel like you knew more about quality control than he did?
I felt I did, which wasn't a good gauge because I never was actually a quality control person in any of my roles before, but I worked with really professional people at Nestle. And I've seen a different level. more engaged, serious.
Nestle has a different level of quality control than Real Water had.
Well, yes, I'd say very much so.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, would you put Nestle at a 10?
10 plus, yes. I used to, oh, wait a minute, he said I was quality control. Yes, I was quality control for Carnation when I first began years ago. First got it maybe what, maybe it was 1989?
Carnation. Carnation would be.
That was Carnation, right, then Nestle bought them, so.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, Carnation had a 10 quality control?
Oh, 10 plus, that's even the distribution.
How would you rate the quality control at Real Water while you were there?
Let's see, I'd say, not too bad, maybe 3, 4, maybe.
As of the time you left, had they made a decision? What, I mean, was the Costco account still in existence at the time you left?
I believe so. I believe it was. I know they were on 3 shifts operating. They tried 3 shifts, came out of 2 shifts, and because production was getting slower, that's when they laid myself off in the controller segment.
Who got laid off? You and the controller?
Right. And the controller was taken over by Blaine, and then Amy took over my position.
All right. Now, what is your understanding as to what the reporting procedure was at Real Water if a customer indicated they were potentially sick from drinking Real Water?
Boy, that was not even me. That would have been Amy Jones or Blaine Jones or what's the main owner's name? Got his name, but Brent Jones, yeah, Brent. Those 3 would have worked it out, figured out how that worked. They would have passed on to me what the situation was and what to correct it or what their thoughts were, but no.
Why don't we look at Exhibit 14, please? That's the policy and procedure to report customer complaints. First question, have you ever seen that before?
Oh, when you say page 14?
Exhibit 14.
All right, hold on. I'm reading it over, just give me a second here. No, I didn't, wasn't involved in this thing, unless it began back in 2014.
Okay, so you didn't get any training on what to do with customer complaints?
No, sir, no.
Did you drink Real Water yourself?
I did, I drank it. And he gave us a couple of cases every week or month, we get a case take home.
Did you drink it at work, at home, or both?
Don't know, at home, maybe at home, at work, at home.
Okay, and when you drank it at work, did you drink it straight off the assembly line?
No, I just, no, it'd be a sealed bottle.
And was there a reason you didn't drink it straight off the assembly line?
Oh, it was just an open air. I wasn't, like I said, I came from a different environment and really didn't see open air be a way to do it. But we could fill it up on the volume line and be capped right there on the spot. Mm-hmm. So it was never bottles flowing down the line with it open, right? So there was never an opportunity to get some debris in there that I would see.
Okay. There's been some testimony that there was some sort of procedure to let it sit for a couple of days before anyone drank it off the assembly line. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, I.
Okay, what was the procedure?
You got me on the specific dates on that, but I did hear, I don't know the procedure, I don't know what you want from me, but I remember it was, I don't know how long, I don't think you'd be a number on that.
Okay, but the procedure was to allow it to sit for some time period, correct?
Sometimes we're behind and we just pack the trucks and ship it out, and I don't know, we get to consumer probably after it sits there a couple of days, I don't remember the number of days it was.
Okay, and why did they want it to sit before they shipped it out?
The reason why? I know what my explanation to me was to make the people have, like, say, diarrhea or whatever for that. If you have too much chlorine and something like that, give you the same.
So if you drank it right off the assembly line, it could potentially give people diarrhea.
Right, there you go. Now you got my memory going right. So we didn't drink it off the line. That's the reason why.
Okay, and could it also potentially make people vomit?
It would give the same as if you drank like chlorine water from a pool. So that's the way I was told. So I think it could make you vomit, I'm sure.
And who told you that?
Had it be Blaine or had it be Blaine? That's the only guy I dealt with there.
Okay, and did you ever make inquiry as to what was in the water that was making people sick and vomiting?
No, there wasn't like I said, this isn't a customer complaint thing that I'm dealing with. It's just general knowledge we have, you know, as far as what would happen. I didn't hear that the customer getting sick with this stuff, but.
When you drank the Nestle water when it came off the line, would that make you sick and vomit?
No. Super clean place. No, the water was, no.
Okay, are you aware of any other bottled water that if you drink it off the line makes you sick and vomit?
I'm sure what is it, like the Santi, they put ozone, I think, in that thing. When they bottle it, and you can't drink it right away.
Okay, directing your attention to Exhibit 46. This is an email chain between Shane Castile and a customer named Watkins, Wadkins, and you are not on the email chain, okay? No, I think you got the wrong exhibit. I think 40, did I say 46? I meant 40. Yeah, 46.
46 doesn't look like an email, right? Just a letter. Maybe there's an email in here somewhere, right? Exhibit 46, you said?
Yeah, try 45. I'm sorry. My lovely assistant has helped me out a little bit.
Yeah, I just 45 email I do.
Okay. And I'm not suggesting you should have gotten this email. I'm just asking if you knew anything about, on the second page, it says, quote, "My husband has been in the hospital for 2 weeks, and the doctor wants him to stop drinking alkaline water," unquote. Did I read that right?
Read it right.
Okay. Did you become aware at any time that a Real Water customer was in the hospital?
No, I didn't know about that. I mean, that sounds like a big thing. And say, for example, we're in Nestle and something happens like this, all management would shut the plant down just about 15 minutes or so and get a safety review.
Right.
After actually report in the military, same kind of thing. But no, I don't remember that. No.
If Nestle got a report that one of their customers drank their water and was in the hospital for 2 weeks, they would shut the assembly line down, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Did you become aware of any reports of anybody, customers, employees, anybody becoming ill from drinking Real Water at any time?
Well, I think Obed, and if anybody, I remember about drinking the water off the line, because I mentioned it early on, you know, hey, what's going on? We're gonna have a bottle. I'm dying of thirst. It's hot as heck in this place. And Obed would say, "No, man, you're gonna get sick." You know, so maybe, I don't know. I'm just hypothetical, like someone said out there. I don't remember a specific situation where someone got sick.
So you remember Obed, and I think his name was, it's on Exhibit 20 again. So you think Obed,
Like I said, I don't know if he got sick, but he told me this, no. I'm drinking this off the line.
did Obed Penaloza warn you not to drink the water off the assembly line because people were getting sick?
Oh, no, not people, not because people are getting sick, that you could get sick, because it is, it's got to settle or something has to happen to it, oxidized, plastic, I don't know exactly what plastic is.
So Obed Penaloza told you not to drink the water off the assembly line because you could get sick. Is that correct?
Right, just like I said, from chlorine, like a chlorine type thing, I had to settle or something else. I'm imagining something like the Desanti stuff. I assumed it, something like that.
Okay, you assumed it was chlorine. He didn't say anything about chlorine?
No, the chlorine was never mentioned. I'm just saying out of my head. He said it's like if you're in a swimming pool, you drink too much water in a swimming pool, get the same kind of reaction.
Okay.
That is, that's his, this conversation with me.
Did anybody else caution you not to drink it off the assembly line?
I think Blaine too, at one time, I asked him about it too.
And Blaine
I mean,
also,
it got extremely hot in there, so of course you're dying for water, and you got bottles of water all around you. It's really simple. No, get some other warehouse.
okay, so Blaine Jones also told you not to drink it out of the assembly line because you might get sick?
Because of the time element, that's why.
Okay, but Blaine Jones gave you that warning too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It wasn't like a sit-down conversation, but it was like, yeah, man.
And did you yourself also see other people, or also warn other people not to drink it?
We got new employees, I'm sure I told them not to drink it off the line.
Did you know if you told one, more than one, what?
I think any new employees that came in, I mean, I do an orientation with them, walk through the plant, and tell them about the 3 cases of water we got, I think once a week, or something like that for everybody, and that I wouldn't mention to anybody out there. And if I didn't, if that wasn't a specific thing for me, Obed or the lead person, so Obed would tell me the same thing.
Okay.
I mean, people are literally dripping sweat and it gets really hot, so they want water, so that's something you need to flag everybody on that.
Okay. Okay. You know what hydrazine is?
Hydrazine?
Hydrazine.
No.
Okay. And if you take a look at Exhibit 25, that is a test report that the FDA did on the concentrate used to make real water, where they found in 3 different samples that they had hydrazine levels of 1.44, 1.75, and 1.32. Okay, you with me?
I got it.
Okay. And if you take a look at the next page, that's a fact sheet about hydrazine. That's Exhibit 26, which generally says that hydrazine is a rocket fuel that causes liver and kidney damage. You see that? Would you agree with me that hydrazine should not have been in real water?
I hope it wasn't, but no, I can agree with it based on that statement, with us not being anywhere around that plant.
Okay, can you give me any explanation as to how hydrazine could have found its way into real water?
If it was put in real water, all the area I saw was not put in at all. Nobody was pouring anything in there unless it was after shipment of the night, but I don't see that happening. I can imagine in that little locker, in the little not secret, I'm sorry, that's going too far, but in the little room that we did the water concentrate, whatever was done in that locker, whatever was in that locker must have, if it was added, I would assume it'd be added in that room, if it was added at all.